I have no clue what's gonna happen, and that's what I love about that fight.
I actually feel the same way.
I have no clue.
I just don't know. You just don't know.
I said that to Tyson Fury, and he said, "Oh, come on, mate. You know exactly what's gonna happen. I'm gonna go across the ring again, and I'm gonna knock." I said, "Man, it sounds good. It sounded good the first time, but something's different. Something has to be different in Deontay Wilder, and I think it will be. So we shall see." I actually picked Deontay Wilder to knock out Tyson Fury. I'm a big advocate of experience. I'm a big advocate of the amateur background and the Olympic background. Yes, Deontay Wilder was an Olympian, but he did not have the experience as an amateur that Tyson Fury has. So everything about it, the intellect, the understanding, numbers, styles, make all of that leans towards Tyson Fury. But something is telling me that it's not going to go that way. We'll see what happens.
No, because I think he's brilliant for the sport. Great for the game, good self-promoter, good talker, really exciting, huge puncher. Just don't think he's very good. And without his power, I don't even think he'd be registered on the world-class scene. But he does have tremendous power. But he just, in my opinion, the only way he wins is to detonate that power against an elite heavyweight. Even if you look at the Ortiz fight, forget the first fight if you want to, but the second fight, he lost every round. But he showed the power. But if he can't show that power, and Fury was too smart for him, then he's irrelevant in the fight against a brilliant fighter.
I don't know. I personally don't want to see it. I think Fury did both fights, won the fights. I think that was a great fight for the heavyweight division, because we know the crossover fans, that's where they attract to, is the heavyweights. And we finally got, at this point, some good heavyweights and big fights that are getting everybody's attention. This fight did pretty good. But I don't want to see the third fight. I think Wilder could go off and fight a Ruiz or a Parker. I think that Joshua should fight Fury. Fury wasn't in a big war. He didn't get beat up in this fight. So at this point, there's no need for him to take any other fight.
So there's no way you feel that Wilder can beat Fury at this point?
It's like the same thing with Canelo Triple G third fight. I mean, it's done. It's ran its course. Let's move on and make some of the other big fights. And I think that there's other big fights in the heavyweight division that can be made, and I think people would want to see that.
Got beat up, and it's like, you like a killer. Wilder's a fucking killer. The hardest hitting heavyweight in history, and he's a fucking killer. And he just he got beat up, dominated. I think that's gonna affect him a lot. I really think that's gonna affect him a lot. Now, of course, I think that as far as the suit and all that stuff, maybe that could be in his mind why he lost the fight. But I just think that it's really gonna affect him, because he just a killer, man. He just knocking everybody out, and he just get totally dominated like that. I think it's really mentally, it's really gonna affect him. I really want to see how he comes back from this.
No, I do too. I think it's really interesting, and on a historical sense, once that aura of a killer is gone, the opponents get a lot tougher, because mentally they know, oh, I can hurt this guy. I'm not afraid of him anymore.
Right. Same thing as I was with Tyson, a long time ago. Everybody was scared of him until Buster Douglas came and beat him, and it's oh, he's not invincible. At first, he's invincible. Same thing with the Wilder thing. It was this motherfucker's invincible, and now it's just oh, he's not that invincible. He doesn't hit that hard. He doesn't do this. So it's gonna be hard. I think mentally and psychologically, it's gonna be hard for him to come back. But of course, I think he still can.
A third fight for what? The second fight didn't bring on. To me, the second fight doesn't warrant a third fight. It was over. I mean,
a lot of people say that wasn't Wilder that night, that he had a bad night, and that he could always end the fight with one punch, regardless.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How many losses do you think I got on my record?
I don't know. Let me look it up on BoxRec. It's not a lot. You would know, though. 8?
8?
Nah, you got to have less than that, right? I thought it was around
8.
6. 8, okay.
What is it?
Let's see. Officially, well, you should know. It's your record.
8, right?
8. Okay, we'll make 110%. Let's see.
So it was 8. I got 8 losses.
55,
right?
8 and 2. Yeah.
Okay. What did Wilder say?
It's been a lot of things, honestly. It's been a lot of things.
Give me one.
The his costume fatigued his legs was the first one. Then after that, he felt that his water was spiked.
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
Okay.
Stop.
Okay.
How many losses do I got?
8.
8?
Yeah.
Somebody spiked my water on all those 8 fights, and I'm letting you know right now that those 8 fights, I think my water was spiked. I'm telling you. Because those fights, I was totally different guy. I wasn't the executioner. I didn't switch my name to probably the alien in most of them, except for the first one, because that was early in my career. But yeah, all those 8 fights, somebody spiked my water. Listen, man, nobody let their water, when you're on that level, you got team. Nobody's your own guy spike you. Come on.
Well, that's what he said. That his own guy was part of it.
Wilder, I respect him, I love him, man. But just get back in the race again. Just go ahead, man, and not have people make fun and act stupid and all this stuff. But now, when you start saying things that you can't prove, see, that's the key. When you say things and you're saying things that you can't prove, you become now a sore loser. I'm a sore loser.
I think Wilder, I think he has a different game plan. You know, he's training with Malik Scott, and he's looking good. You know, Wilder's looking good. He looks ready. He looks determined. You know, so it's a great matchup. You know, Tyson Fury is Tyson Fury, though. You know, he is a champion, lineal champion, and for a reason. I think he showed everybody when they fought the second time. He showed everybody what he could do, how big of a heart he has in the first fight. You can't come back from a Wilder right hand like that, and he did. And I think that with Wilder, you know, it's not a loss for him. It was a lesson learned. And I think he took that in. He sat on it for a good couple months, and now he's back. So I think I'm excited. You know, I'm excited for it. Regardless of what it is, I'm excited to see part 3.
Quicker this time than he did last time. I really think that Fury will get Wilder out of there in a shorter period of time than it took him last time.
Why do you feel that, Bob? What do you see there?
Because I know my guy. I know what he's thinking. I know what kind of shape he's in. I mean, he had to have some trepidation when he went into the last fight with Wilder, because even though I thought he won almost all of the round, he still got knocked on his ass twice, and nobody expected him to get up after the second knockdown. So that's on a fighter's mind, right? Now he comes back, he gets a new trainer, Sugar Hill, and he's confident and he's full of himself, rightly so. And so he feels that he'll be able to take Wilder easier than he did last time. I mean, it's as simple as that. There's no rocket science in this.
Is that a bad thing, given how hard of a puncher Wilder is?
No, I don't think it's a bad thing, because if you are afraid of a puncher and you stay away from the puncher, there's a limit to the time you can stay away, as the first fight showed, because eventually the puncher is going to get you. Right? Because you're hitting him with maybe with an open fist, and you're beating the hell out of him, you're winning the points, and he's hitting with a punch that can knock you out. And so the way to fight a big puncher is not to crap around with him and to keep outboxing him, is to take it to him and prevent him from throwing his punch to knock you out. That was Tyson's theory then, it's his theory now, and it is what it is.
I know. Honestly, a lot of people have been talking to me about the Wilder Fury fight. I'm interested in seeing how that fight goes for the third time around. I think they both learned different things in each fight. I'm the twin who don't mind saying whatever, but I don't know, man. I'm not against Wilder. I'm not against Fury. I want both of them to just be successful and get the heavyweight division back its buzz that it once had.
I think it'll only be different if Wilder comes into the fight with a mentality that he's willing to go through fire to dish his his own firepower. I think that I like the fact that he's working on his technique. I like the fact that he's working on his mechanics, but I'm not expecting him to be completely different. You add to a fighter's style. You can help him fundamentally. You can help him be aware of things that he wasn't aware of, distance, control, how to throw your punches correctly. But at the same time, you don't want to take away his nature. Deontay Wilder's nature is he's gonna come get you. He's not gonna outbox Tyson Fury. His mentality going into the fight, he needs to be completely over that knockout loss. He has to be over that. He can't carry that into the ring with him.
That's the hard part though, right?
That's the toughest part about this. So, with that being said, if he can come and be more aggressive and let his hands go, the more times he let that right hand go, the more opportunities he's going to have to be able to land that shot on Tyson Fury. But if he sits back and try to be cute, try to be defensive, and Fury's going to pick on the pieces and do the same thing and come and put him on his heels. One thing that Wilder needs to understand is that his right hand is vicious when he's coming forward. His right hand is not vicious when he's going backwards, okay? He's going forward, he can deliver that right hand with full power and full force. So he should move forward, bag up Tyson Fury. Not only that, shoot the jab, educated jab, head, body, chest, switch it up, feint, bed, body, switch it up. Those type of things that, fundamentals that he needs to add to his game, but still being himself, all right? Then you have the technique behind that he's been working on, and then this got to be stronger too, because as soon as he gets hit, he could very well just go bounce back to what he normally does. The same thing happens.
As the second one? Yeah, with Fury that dominant?
Same thing happens. Yeah, that's probably the most likely thing that's going to happen, because Fury psychologically have the advantage over him, and Fury already knows what he needs to do.
But Wilder can knock out anybody in the world at any time.
See, that's the one thing that I brought up to people, because people writing him off. I'm like, you can't write off a guy that can knock anybody out with one punch.
I think he's the best one-punch fighter in history. You
can make a big jar into that.
Yeah, he can lose every second of every round. Boom, that's it. Fight's over. He's got that kind of power. So yeah, he's a very live guy. I personally think that Tyson does what he did in the second fight again.
Yeah.
But again, Wilder's always live.
I like that fight. I like it's gonna be a tough fight. I think Fury feels as though it's gonna be an easy piece of cake, but I think that it's gonna be a tough fight.
What do you make of people counting out Wilder because of what happened in the second fight?
Well, we're gonna see. I think we it's a question mark. Was that the first fight was one way? This guy had been on for a while, but at the same time, we're gonna see how he does on this comeback.
I think Tyson Fury edges it out. It'll probably be the boringest fight out of all the three, but I think that he'll edge it out just a little bit.
Why do you say it'll be boring?
I mean, not boring, but the least exciting. The first fight was very exciting because of the story and Tyson coming back. Hadn't been in the ring in a while, and then we also had the second fight, which was very controversial, but he stopped him and stuff like that. So I think that this fight is going to be tapered down from both fights, but a decision. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a slower, boringer fight.
I mean, on the last one, I think Fury took everything away from Wilder, man. He took his soul. And after a beating like that, you will not come back with the same. He'll have a trauma in his head already. I've seen it before. I've seen it since Jeff Lacey fought Joe Calzaghe, and it's like, once you take a beating like that, your mind is no longer the same. You're no longer the same. He's going to come back, and that trauma is going to be there. And I think Fury will beat Wilder.
And he's carrying a lot of demons, Wilder. He got ridiculed last time. He got a severe beating. You don't get over that in a hurry. And Tyson, he's mentally fresher in every department. Wilder's got it all to do. He'll think he can do this and do that because he's being told he can do. But when the going gets tough, he'll revert back to type, and the result will be the same, hopefully. He has got a puncher's chance. And unless Tyson goes to sleep on the job and gets complacent and loses concentration, that's Wilder's only chance of victory. And that's not going to happen. But the way I see it, the result will be the same, but I think he gets a worse beating this time than he got before. It'll be the end of Deontay Wilder. Retirement stages for him. Be too badly damaged because Tyson has been training to hurt him and hurt him bad.
I think, even if he makes the adjustments and changes, I still think Fury beats him.
Yeah.
I think Fury beats everyone. It's basically except me, but.
But you guys wouldn't fight, right?
If you never know if the opportunity presented itself and he needed someone to fight, be willing to take it. But I mean, it's, he doesn't want it. So.
I think the second fight, before he was even hurt, I think the first round, I was watching it with my wife, and right away I said, I think something's wrong with Wilder. His legs were not as strong as we had seen him, so I truly believe something was wrong with him. All this, the outfit and all that. I think that was. If something was wrong, he should have said the truth. Maybe he got sick. Maybe he got knocked out a few weeks. Something was wrong with him. I just had that feeling because I seen it in his legs, and then he gets knocked out. He gets stopped. So this time around, I think he's gonna come out strong, and it's gonna be a great fight. I still think Fury wins. But I think it's going to be a very, very close fight.
Same outcome, I think Wilder should have fought somebody else before Tyson Fury, just to get his confidence back. But he still has that thing in his head, and he showed it the way he was talking about excuses here, excuses there, excuses there. When a man loses, he's got to take it. And say, I lost, and I'm going to get better. I'm going to come back, and I'm going to destroy this dude. Then I will believe him a little bit more. But let's see what happens. Wilder's a monster, and, that right hand could hit any time. The mistake that trainers are doing right now with Wilder is that they're trying to teach him how to box. At his age, it's too late. You learn this shit when you're 6 years old, 7, 8, 9, 10,
she could just go for
12. No, not gonna go for broke. But at least, learn a couple of tactics, what I'm saying, that's going to make you a little bit better in the outside and the inside, what I'm saying. He's got to learn how to how to box a little bit backwards. So I will do a lot of drills going backwards, because that's what messed him up in the fight with Tyson Fury, what I'm saying? Use the angles, move to the sides, he just goes straight back, what I'm saying? And I think that's one thing that they should learn.
At the end of the day, I think his mindset is right. I like the way I saw some pad work. I think he's developing more, trying to close the gap on the weaknesses, right? Because everybody has weaknesses, but it takes a special fighter to acknowledge their own weaknesses, go back into the camp, and then tighten up on them. You know what I mean? It's not that Deontay's going to be a perfect fighter overnight, but you can tighten up, right? You fail a test in high school, you study a little harder, you get a better grade. That's what it comes down to, and I look forward to his performance. I always love the Bronze Bomber. I've supported him his whole career, and I'm always in his corner. Red, white, and blue, America, baby. Bring that belt home. It's you're gonna have to work for it. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to set him up. But I think that's what he's training on. He's training on setting things up a little bit more, not just willing it like, oh, here he goes. Plus, he never fought somebody so evasive, so elusive. He's also not fought somebody who had a reach advantage over him. You know what I mean? They've been in the ring. He has enough time in the ring to make adjustments. You know what I mean? These are rematches. Rematches are on a different level. Back to the Ali days, back to the 60s and the 70s. The rematches are just a different level. I've yet to really do rematches in my career, but if I did, I'll have more experience because I understand that fighter and how they fight.
What adjustments do you think that Wilder needs to make? What adjustments do you think Wilder needs to make to be successful second go-round, third go-round?
Give the guy a little taste of his medicine. Be a little bit more elusive yourself. You know what I mean? Work on the things that you haven't worked on before to challenge your opponent.
Based on the last fight, you'd have to favor the Fury. But again, we know that Wilder's working hard. We know that he has the potential and the ability to turn a fight around. It's 12 rounds. He can conceivably get his shots through and upset the apple cart. So we'll have to see.
Roy Jones Jr. How are you, son? You all right?
You all right? Yeah.
Everything
good with you?
Hey, this guy tell y'all, I told him 5 years ago, get yourself back in shape.
Whoop all these motherfuckers' ass.
I told you, whoop all of them. Did I not tell you that?
And what have I done so far?
I whooped all their ass.
Yeah!
Well, guys, it's nearly that time of the year again where I take over Las Vegas and it becomes the home of the Gypsy King. And just remember this press conference that we had here on this phone, that I vowed to smash Deontay Wilder to bits. And I will. Tune in, find out.
Thank you so much for watching this video, and make sure to subscribe for more videos of your favorite fighters over here on Fight Up TV, and give us a follow online as well at Fight Up TV on Twitter and on Instagram. We appreciate it, guys.